Hello, and welcome to a presentation about the Teach Minnesota Scholarship Program. The Teach Scholarship is a college scholarship program designed to help early childhood educators increase their education, compensation, and commitment to the early childhood field. In order for an educator to receive a Teach Scholarship, the program they work for is required to participate in the scholarship program. In this presentation, I will explain all the details of the scholarship and how to sponsor your employee. First, I'd like to go through the reasons you might want to sponsor a Teach Scholarship recipient from your early childhood program. The Teach Scholarship covers the majority of the cost of a college degree. This can be a big draw for someone who can't afford the cost of college on their own. So if you're able to offer a sponsorship as a perk for working for your program, this can be a great recruitment tool. One of the goals of the Teach Scholarship program is to reduce turnover in the early childhood field. In order to do that, the scholarship requires a minimum of a 2-year commitment to your program. Also, while on a Teach Scholarship, your staff person will be taking college classes in early childhood. This means they will be learning new skills they can bring back to their classroom, which can directly benefit the quality of your program. And finally, when staff see that their employer is invested in their professional development, this can have a positive effect on staff morale. As I've mentioned already, the Teach Scholarship is a college scholarship that helps early childhood educators earn college credits and associate and bachelor's degrees in early childhood, child development, or early childhood special education. It's a national program with about 25 states offering Teach scholarships. Now we're going to get into some of the eligibility requirements for the scholarship. In centers or early childhood programs, all classroom staff are eligible. That includes teachers, assistant teachers, and aides. Also, directors and assistant directors are eligible for the Teach Scholarship, and Head Start program classroom staff, as well as home visitors. Other eligibility requirements include being employed at your program for at least 6 months before they can apply for a scholarship. You can waive this requirement if you have a staff person that maybe you've just recruited and you don't want to wait for 6 months before you sponsor them. But we recommend waiting at least 6 months just to make sure that that they are a good fit for your program and that you do want to sponsor them for a scholarship. They also have to be working at least 20 hours a week. And then we usually recommend that they get accepted to college first before applying for a Teach Scholarship, because we're going to ask for proof of that during the application process. There's a list of colleges on our website that we work with that offer early childhood degrees, or anybody can call the Teach counselors and ask for recommendations and advice on which college to choose. I'm going to go over a couple of the general details about what the scholarship includes. And I'm going to go into more detail in a couple of slides as well. The scholarship will cover 85% of the cost of books and tuition. That means that leaves 10% to the scholarship recipient and 5% to the sponsoring program. The scholarship covers up to 18 semester credits per year being 12 months long. Think of this as a part-time college scholarship. It's not intended for full-time students. It's intended for people who work, most likely full-time, and want to go to college part-time. A couple other benefits that the scholarship offers is paid release time, which I'm going to get into in more detail a little bit later, and then they receive at the end of their scholarship a bonus or a raise. The scholarship is renewable as many years as they want to renew and as many years as you would like to sponsor until they finish their degree or decide to stop going to college. A couple more details about the scholarship. The scholarship applicant or your staff person must commit to working for your program for the year while they're on scholarship and 1 additional year after that. So a scholarship recipient will stay at your program for a minimum of 2 years. It could be longer if they decide to renew their scholarship and keep applying for more. Then they will keep working all the years while they're on scholarship, and then once they're finished being on scholarship, still 1 additional year. Also, you as the employer, the sponsoring program must agree to sponsor. Again, more details will be on the next slide. Here are all of the details about the scholarship. As you can see, I divided it into two. The employee side is the left-hand side. Those are the things that they're responsible for and also the benefits that they will receive while they're on scholarship. And then you, as the sponsoring employer, can look at the right-hand side, and you can see that your responsibilities will be to pay for 5% of tuition and books. You'd pay that amount to teach. Then to offer your employee who's on scholarship 3 hours a week of release time to which is a time that they get to spend going to class, studying, writing papers, running errands, whatever they need to do with that extra time. Even if they are taking classes online and they're not interfering with work time, they still get this release time to help them balance work and school. Then we will reimburse your program at a rate of $12 an hour, while you still pay your staff person their normal hourly wage for this release time. So you get a partial reimbursement from Teach for that time that you're giving them paid time off. Then you get to choose whether you will pay a $250 bonus or a 2% raise at the end, within 6 months at the end of their scholarship year. This only gets paid out if the scholarship applicant, if the employee completes at least 9 credits, and then we will let you know if they are eligible for their bonus or raise after the end of their scholarship year. Then, as I said, there's a commitment period where they will stay employed with your program while on scholarship, and then for 1 year after that. Something that I'm always asked is by a program that's trying to decide whether or not they want to sponsor a recipient is, how much will this cost my program? So there are a lot of variables with this. It depends on how many credits the scholarship recipient is taking, your employee is taking, how much financial aid did they qualify for, things like that. So I made this estimation based on someone not getting any financial aid. So this would be the maximum cost that your program would have to pay. If your employee is going to a 2-year college, community and technical college, their tuition is on average for 18 credits. Your portion of their tuition would be $200 a year. And we don't bill per year, we bill per semester. But this just gives you an idea of how much you'd have to budget for tuition for your scholarship recipient for the whole year, maximum of $200 for your 5% share of their tuition. The books are also widely variable. On average, you may pay around $100 per year for your 5% of their books. It could be more, it could be less. It just depends on, books are variable. Release time is going to be variable because it's going to depend on how much your employee gets paid per hour, and if you have to hire a sub to cover their hours or not. So that cost you're going to have to figure out. And then you will have chosen at the beginning of the scholarship year a $250 bonus or a 2% raise. So again, that you can also factor in. If the employee is going to get their bachelor's degree at a 4-year college, that's a little bit different. It's a little bit more expensive, obviously. If they're going to a public college, it's about $270 per year. That would be your 5% share of tuition. Private colleges are a little more expensive. You can see the difference in price there. This should be the maximum that you would pay, though. You shouldn't be paying more than either $270 a year or $375 for your 5% share of tuition, and it may be less if the scholarship recipient receives financial aid grants. Again, with books, very variable, release time, and the bonus or the raise. So this just gives you a sense of how much would it cost per year. Think about how much you pay for in-service training, because this would take the place of in-service training because the staff person is going to college and taking college classes, and a 3-credit college class, like one college class, is about 45 hours of training. So if you weigh those things out, the cost isn't a lot, and it's also covering in-service, which is something that you'd have to also pay for your staff person. This slide's a little bit about the application process. Usually I recommend that a person who wants to apply for a scholarship choose a college and apply to the college and be accepted to the college, or if someone is already accepted, great. because they don't have to start their scholarship at the very beginning of their degree. If somebody is partway into a degree and wants to apply for a Teach Scholarship, they're still eligible, eligible at any time. They need to complete the FAFSA, and we just ask that everybody does that, even if they're not going to be eligible for financial aid. We ask that everybody does apply anyway. And then the Teach applications are online. The website is here. In addition, we will ask you as a sponsoring program to sign an intent to sponsor form, which is called a participation agreement. Those can also be found on the website on the page with the application. So if you want to take a look at that, or feel free to contact the Teach office at any time to ask for a copy. We will send you a copy. Something people always ask me also is, if I want to sponsor one recipient, then I have to sponsor everyone that wants to at my program? You are in full control of that. If you want to start with one person, and then see how it goes and see how much it costs and see how difficult it is for release time and everything like that, you can start with one person. Your program gets to decide how many people you sponsor and how many people you continue to sponsor. And you could come up with an equitable system of deciding who you're going to sponsor in the future, or how many. And finally, application deadlines. While we don't really have hard and fast deadlines for the Teach Scholarship Program, we accept applications on a rolling basis at any time. If somebody discovers our program like mid-semester, then they can get a scholarship to cover current classes that they have already started and classes that they may have already paid for. They can still apply mid-semester, but these are the deadlines in order to cover a current semester of classes. So if somebody is taking summer classes and they apply after August 1st, then their scholarship will not start until fall semester. It'll just get bumped to the next semester. So these are sort of like soft deadlines, if you will, and then we always accept applications. People can apply at any time. And finally, if you have any questions about anything I've said, if you would like to schedule a time to chat with one of the Teach counselors, or just give us a call and ask some questions on your own, you can email us. Here's our email address and also our phone number. We're always happy to answer questions. We're happy to set up meetings and discuss things in more detail. But please feel free to contact us, and please consider sponsoring a Teach Scholarship recipient. Thank you.